Thank you for your interest in USD 113. The purpose of this screencast is to share information with the Board of Education as well as members of the public about our district and what we're doing in regard to the school closure because of the COVID-19 pandemic. There's a number of items on the agenda for Tuesday, March 31st, and those are very relevant to our waiver, our continuous learning plan, and other information. First item on the agenda is I'm asking the board to go ahead and change the location for the April 13th Board of Education meeting from Axtell to Sabetha. We have those meetings outside of Sabetha 4 times a year, twice in Axtell, twice in Wetmore, to give patrons an opportunity to attend that would be more convenient for them in light of the restrictions that we have on the number of people that are able to be in a room or in a school. I don't see that is going to be advantageous, and so I'm asking the board to go ahead and change that location to Sabetha. Item number 2, the resolution regarding wage payments during emergency school closures. You're going to see this in the waiver, and this is a requirement that we have as part of the waiver, and so we're going to ask the board to go ahead and adopt that resolution. It's one of those things that you really don't have much of a choice. You have to do it in order to be in compliance, and it's a good thing. Item number 3, approve the waiver, which includes the continuous learning plan. So the waiver, in essence, is to allow our district to not meet the state requirement of 1,116 hours. That is the minimum hours set for a school year for a school district. If you do not meet that requirement, there are consequences. Just for your information, for seniors, the requirement is 1,086 hours. We typically have much more than 1,116 hours a year for our kids. Usually we don't have any problem at all meeting that deadline. I'm going to share some information with you from the waiver application, and I'm going to be very brief, and I'm not going to share the entire document at this time because there's a lot of redundancies with the next document that we're going to look at with our continuous learning plan. Question number 1, who closed our schools? The governor did. Item number 2, how many hours was your school district open during the 1920 school year? We clocked 882.8 hours for last year before we were shut down. Item number 3, then, the waiver that we're asking for is we're asking them to waive 233.2 hours from the 11/16 for the 1920 school year. So it indicates that we have to have a continuous learning plan, which we will. Then we have to have some assurances. The first one is we have to have a continuous learning plan. Item number 2, that goes back to the resolution on hourly employees. We have to pay all of our current hourly employees. Item number 3, the deadline for the continuous learning plan is April 8th. And then item number 4, we have to assure that any new students enrolling in our district, we're going to enroll them and try to get them in to our continuous learning plan and make sure that learning is an ongoing process for them. Item number 5, then, of course, is safety. That we have to make sure that our families, our employees, are safe in this process. So there's a lot of other information that's in here. You're welcome to read that at your convenience. Like I said, there's a lot of redundancies that are repeated in our continuous learning plan, and so I'm just going to move on to that document. And within the continuous learning plan, before we even had the information from Kansas State Department of Education regarding structure, our administrative team started coming up with our philosophy because we felt any direction that we went in this, it was going to be important for us to have a solid foundation as we look forward. So looking at it, we want to educate the whole child. Our number one concern is the safety of our kids, and I am concerned about that, how our kids are doing, what their emotional well-being is, and so that's our number one concern. Part of that is we want to make sure that the learning is relevant, that it's important, and then this goes back to what we just read with the waiver application, and safety is our number one priority. The next goal, keep it simple. We don't want to add stressors to our families, to our students at this time. We don't want to introduce new platforms that haven't been used in the classroom already, and so we want to keep it simple as much as possible. We want to practice grace. We want to to have a lot of patience. We want to work to improve as learners ourselves, and so that's another goal. Next one. We want to provide students with relevant, engaging, focused learning experiences. You're going to see in a little bit that our teachers had to identify those critical standards that they wanted their kids to learn, and hopefully we will be able to teach those standards in a way that is relevant, that we can use real-world experiences for them. The next one is different learning opportunities. So we open this up: online, offline, enrichment, and remediation. We want to be able to provide all levels of learning, and as we look at it, pre-K through 12th grade learning, as well as the different content areas, there's a lot of diversity there, and so we have to be flexible with what we're asking for. Communication is essential through this process, and that's something that I'm going to repeat, is that any communication that happens, please speak up. We're putting a lot of things in place for us to communicate with our public, but we're also asking for the public to communicate with us. We really needs to be a two-way street. Finally, we need to be modeling perseverance. That's going to be very important, especially as we work with technology or other aspects of the learning process. So one of the first questions, what is continuous learning, right? So we have to provide guidance for our educators about what this looks like, what some of the plan is, and we want to focus on those critical learning standards that the teachers have identified, and we want to use materials, resources, and platforms that we're already using and that are available to us. Professional learning is going to be very important. We surveyed our staff, and that was very important to get some information from them. They're at different places in their learning with technology, and so we broke down our learning into 3 different levels: building level meetings or needs, district content, grade level collaboration needs, and then specific technology needs for using different platforms. Ongoing support is going to be very important, and I feel fortunate in our district to have a lot of different opportunities for our people for ongoing support. So academic support, it's important for us to be creative in our thinking. We don't want to continue to do business as normal, because there's no way we can do that compared to what it is in a regular classroom. And so that is just something that we're going to have to keep in mind, is that we're going to have to be creative. We want to give our students voice and choice. Hopefully they'll have a couple of different opportunities to display their learning as they move forward. I mentioned critical standards that the teachers identified, and I also mentioned that it does not allow for coverage of all the standards taught during a normal 4th quarter of a school year. Some of our time allotments for the learning day, we took these from the task force that Kansas State Department of Education put together to help give us structure, and I think this is a great place for us to start. An online or a distance learning mentality is a lot different, and so we have to change our way of thinking. We want to identify different learning times for kids, and by doing that, we want to reduce the stress on them, reduce the stress on families. Technology learning platforms, we had to identify what those platforms could be like within technology, and we identified technology platforms that our people are familiar with and that they've also had professional development with in the past. And so, like I said, I feel like our district is in a pretty good situation moving forward with our one-to-one device initiative, as well as professional learning that our teachers have done in the past. A couple of those that are going to be pretty popular: Seesaw, Google Classroom, Class Dojo, and we're only asking people to use those if they've already been using those. Now, a couple of things that we do have to have professional development on, or people are going to be using for the first time, are Zoom, as well as Google Meet, which is an opportunity for multiple individuals to be on a platform in a video conferencing format. Special education communication is something that we're going to rely on continuously. Special education students are going to have the support that all of our students have. They're also going to have the support of the personnel that work with individuals within special education. We have collaborated with our special education cooperative. We have an idea of what they're going to be doing. It's very similar to what we're doing, and a lot of this boils down to keeping it simple, identify those critical learning needs, and trying to communicate as much as possible. CTE, Career and Technical Education teachers, this is a category that we had to address within our learning plan. And these individuals are high school teachers. We do have some middle school teachers that are part of certain pathways, business pathways, family consumer science pathways, ag pathways, those are all involved in this, and so they're no different than our other content areas. They're going to be using current real world experiences. Now, some of those current real world experiences apply better to them because they're really working on work skills, workplace readiness, and some of those skills, and so that should be easy moving forward, as easy as it can be. Graduation, one of the things that I'm going to ask the board to do is give me the flexibility, if I need to adjust the graduation requirements to the state minimum level of 21. Now, within that state minimum level of 21, what the state does there is they take out all of the elective courses, and it's only the required courses, and so it's the core courses that's there. And typically when kids are not passing, it's a core course that they're not passing. So if that's going to help any of our kids, I want to be able to try to do that or enlist that, and then I want to make sure that our process for this quarter does not negatively impact this year's seniors' ability to graduate. And so I think that that's going to be something important. I think it's also important to take a look at some of our non-seniors and make sure that it doesn't have a negative impact on their ability to graduate as well. Social and emotional supports. This is something that's going to be in place, and it's very similar to what we have during the regular school year. We're going to rely on our relationships. So our staff that work with our kids on a daily basis in the past, moving forward, it may be on a weekly basis or twice a week, whatever that plan looks like for those individual staff members. We want to engage those students in conversations, and then we want to get them help if they need help. Some of our individuals that support those kiddos, our social workers, our school counselors, they're going to be working as well, and they're going to be a resource, and we hope that communication takes place between staff and those individuals to make sure that we're getting kids help when they need it. Excuse me, communication is an area that they asked to be addressed. And of course, I indicated that's a priority. We communicate in a lot of different ways: textcast or social media, email. We try to do the best we can to get the word out in multiple formats so that we communicate as well as possible. Technology support. I feel fortunate to have the technology support that we have. We have a process that's currently in place, that's been in place for students to email support@usd113.org, and then that goes to our technology support individuals, and then we work on that. We also have a Prairie Hills Technology Support Facebook page that we started up just for this. Excuse me, and then we also have an online form that people can fill out to get questions answered that's going to be on our website. I am grateful to our telecommunications partners for providing free wireless hotspots, and then we do have Khajiit hotspots that are available for some individuals in our community. I also feel fortunate that we have grab-and-go meal service that we started March 23rd. We have service places in Sabetha, Axtell, Wetmore, as well as Fairview, Morrill, Byrne, Summerfield, and Goff. Thank you to those people that are working on that. A form is on their website that's a frequently asked questions form, and then also the form to provide feedback to us or to get us questions on that website. So that is the continuous learning document, and I know I went through that very quickly. I'm on a 15-minute timeline. So it's important to stay within that, otherwise this won't work. If you have any questions about any of this information, please don't hesitate to send me an email, evanst@usd113.org. Communicate with any teachers, any of the principals, or you can call the district office as well, 785-284-2175. Thank you.